All right, everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Top 10 Everything. I'm Gavin Croak.
And I am Jeff Croak. We are back!
We're back! Oh, it feels so good.
Here we go.
So, as promised, top 10 greatest basketball players of all time. Going into this, haven't seen each other's lists.
Nope.
We have no clues on there. We might get into some arguments. So feel free if you have any differences that you want to talk about, anything that you don't agree with, let us know. Because this is up for debate. This isn't one of those, like, what's our favorite? This is who's the best. So we each have some honorable mentions.
Which maybe we start with those first.
Start
Talk
with
about
those
the
first,
guys that we debated putting in the top 10, but they didn't crack it. And maybe we just go back and forth. Maybe you start with one guy that you have for honorable mention.
How many do you have? How many honorable mention guys?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8.
I had 4. So I didn't go as far as you.
All right. Well, I'll take out some. So I'll just go. I'll just list the other ones that aren't a big deal.
You go first.
So I'll start with the names that are going to cause some.
I know. I have a feeling I know who's going to be on here.
Number 1 is Kobe. He did not make my top 10, and I'll tell you exactly why.
Okay.
One is everyone likes him because he's dead.
Okay.
That sounds bad.
I know.
Right? But
no,
2.
So
the other thing I'd say is the thing that always frustrated me watching Kobe play. Kobe has amazing statistics, but he also hogs the ball and shoots the ball, and his field goal percentage, I think, was always lousy.
Mm-hmm. What I have big different about that, I agree with you about the whole dead thing. Rest in peace, Kobe. But
rest in peace, Kobe.
But like the fact, I don't think that means he shouldn't be in the top 10. But I do agree that he was in a lot less people's top 10. And after it happened, it bumped him up at least a few spots because he is higher in my list than he probably would have been beforehand. But now I think that kind of just like brings your attention to him. Now seeing all the Kobe clips everywhere on social media kind of makes you remember how good he was. And then the one thing I do have to argue with you is that the fact that he was still able to win with that, I think is kind of impressive. Like whatever it was, 2011, 2012, around there, that last finals he had, that team was probably, if it wasn't for Kobe, they'd be nowhere near the finals. Like they have a good team, but he was like the one main superstar.
That's fair.
And it's not like one of those things like he was able to do it when he was the one main guy.
Yeah, no, so I'd agree. Like Kobe checks off a lot of boxes. He can score whenever he wanted to. Mm-hmm. He was the go-to guy that you wanted to have the ball at the end of a game. But just watching him play, the amount of times he shot the ball is everything against how I want to watch a basketball game. And he lived that.
Yeah.
Lived it.
Yeah, I just think it's different than someone like, even like an Allen Iverson, where like, it's like he's the main guy, or I need a better example than that. But just someone who wasn't able to win when they were that main guy and took over games like that. Like he was actually able to do and break that next step.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, I'll give a guy that didn't make my top list. Hakeem Olajuwon didn't make my list.
Okay.
He had 2 championships. Am I right?
I think that sounds right.
2 when Jordan left.
Yes. Back to back.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm not sure about that. So if we're wrong, then sorry. But he was good, but like the people above him, it's kind of hard.
Hakeem didn't make my list either.
Yeah.
I thought of him, but I didn't write him down as an honorable mention. Let me give you one that you're gonna hate.
I know who it's gonna be. I just know who.
Steph Curry.
Oh, he's not on my list.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna be a big Steph fan. So
no,
maybe was he an honor? He must have been an honorable mention.
No, he wasn't even on.
Wow.
I don't know. I agree that he's. You're
so
making me rethink it. Yeah, because unanimous MVP in the 3 championships.
He's won MVPs multiple. Mm-hmm. He's won championships multiple. He won without KD, which I think is a big thing. So I really, and then again, I do like the way he plays. Unlike Kobe, he shoots a lot, but he gets a lot in, and he shoots from like all over the court.
Yeah, and he's also a great playmaker.
Great playmaker, great passer.
Moving off the ball. I just didn't even think about it because he's so new. Probably the fact that he's not even retired yet probably changed that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And there's LeBron too, but that's a different story.
So I didn't have Steph.
I'll give one.
Go ahead.
Dirk didn't make my list.
Yeah, Dirk, I would agree.
I like Dirk, but like the fact that he still maybe I missed it. But that championship in 2011.
Yeah,
2011. The fact that he did that was one of the craziest. Like it's like the 04 Pistons run where it's like they were like one of the they probably weren't meant to win that title against the Heat too. That's impressive.
Yeah, and I would agree because I think they were down in that series too.
I don't remember how.
I thought they were,
but just the fact that I think what was I gonna say? Like if he didn't win that championship, him on the all-time rankings would be so much lower.
Yeah, he would be Karl Malone.
Yeah, no, honestly, lower than Karl Malone.
Yeah, worse. I can't stand Karl Malone. And
yeah, but I'm just saying, if Dirk didn't win that championship, if you look at all-time rankings, Karl Malone would be ahead of him.
Yeah. No,
and Charles Barkley.
What about? Well, I was going to say I'd put Barkley ahead of Nowitzki in my rankings.
But he's not on mine. He's not on my 10.
No, he's not my 10.
Okay.
Either. He's not my 10 either. All right, let me give you one. I did have Barkley as one that was a thought for me.
I'm thinking of one that I think you won't have on the list, but you haven't said non-honorable mentions yet. So.
Well, another honorable mention for me is Jabbar. Kareem.
What?
Don't have him in the top 10.
Oh, that's going to upset some people, Dad.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will.
Oh, Dad, that's really bad because he's really high on my list.
So,
oh, no.
I struggle with him. He was one that I was thinking, should he be on there?
Yeah.
I think that the reason why I should have him on the list is because the one that he won with the Bucks. Like, he won a bunch with the Lakers.
He has 6 championships and 6 MVPs.
Yeah, I get that. And the one with the Bucks, I think, is the most memorable.
He's leading scorer. He's like one of the. I think that's just incorrect.
That could be a mistake.
That's
all right.
But he's a lot higher.
It could be a mistake, but you'll understand who's ahead of him as we go through my list. He's honorable mention.
I don't know about that. Okay. Someone else I don't have Jerry West.
So I do have Jerry West.
You do have Jerry West. Yep. Okay, I don't have him on my list. I think just because the era too of him being so late, I only have 2 guys from that era. Guess who those are.
But here's my counter to that, and we'll get into it more. If you're a logo, you're in the top 10. He is the logo. So we'll pause on that.
Okay.
But okay, that's fair.
Anyone else you have? Because I have Oscar Robertson too is my other.
So he's in my top 10.
Oh wow. Okay, so I know you're missing someone else that I have as my number 10.
All right, well, let's wait until we get there. But I'd say the one who I really had a hard time not putting in, so 2 guys. One is Giannis. Now, again, he hasn't done anything yet. It's more on potential.
Oh, no.
It's more on potential. Okay. Giannis is so young. I think if we have this discussion 10 years from now, you're going to be like, Giannis is in my top 10.
If he wins a championship.
He will.
Okay.
I think there's a kid who, if you think about his upbringing and where he's come from and how hard he's had to work for everything, he's had nothing given to him.
Yeah, that's true.
And that drive is going to make him
I know,
an
I just think it's very
absolute
early
superstar.
to call him.
It is. But again, that was more of a potential.
Who's the second guy? Because I have a feeling.
Shaq.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, you hate Shaq. And I'm like.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was going to have him higher, but I bumped him down a ton. So starting this, he's my 10.
Okay.
Shaq is my 10. So, and I had trouble with him. But I was looking at other accolades. And the fact that he only has 1 MVP kind of hurt me. And the fact that those championships with Kobe and then he had the one with D. Wade, it's kind of like he had someone else there. Kind of knocked it down a touch.
And that's kind of what I struggled with Shaq, right? So, granted, was he dominant? Yes.
Yeah, he could have been he could have been top 3.
Could he
he took years off and didn't. He was out of shape.
So, bingo. And see, my thing, and maybe this is a little bit about how I thought about a top 10 person. Mm-hmm. Someone who would kill somebody to win a game. Mm-hmm. And in my eyes, Shaq didn't have that enough.
Okay.
The other thing is, and you hit upon it, it would drive me nuts when Shaq would show up to start the season 35 pounds overweight and say he was going to play himself into shape and finally work it out by, say, March.
Yeah, that's
it's like and it caused injuries later on in his career because he got so fat in the offseason.
Late career Shaq was just disgusting.
Late career Shaq looks like today's Shaq.
Yeah.
Fat.
Shaq on the Celtics is not a good memory.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. And so I
imagine that team in their prime. With Shaq in their prime, Rondo, Pierce. That'd be awesome.
That could have been fun. That could have been fun. So you had Shaq at number 10.
I did.
I had Kevin Durant.
Bro, I don't know who you're missing.
Bro,
I don't know who you're missing out on. But
bro,
that's crazy, Dad. Your top 10's a little out there.
No, we're different.
I think if he wins another championship with the Nets or by himself without that, I think then you can put him there. But right now, you just can't.
You don't think you put him as top 10?
No.
Well, he won what with the Golden State 2? All right, but here's the deal, right? Durant can take over a game. And Durant can play a multitude of...
I agree. He's the greatest scorer of all time, but he's not,
Hold on.
Legacy-wise.
He can play a multitude of positions.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you put him in any other era,
Dominates.
70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and even today, he can dominate. He can play with anybody. And the guy's 7 feet tall, and he can handle the ball like a point guard. I think he is unequivocally one of the most talented guys, and he has rings, and he has an MVP. And to me, those are the two cornerstones. If you don't have rings and you don't have an MVP, you don't get to be in the top 10. As well as, I think he is just an unbelievably tough matchup.
He's the most unguardable scorer. He can do anything he wants.
And he plays good defense.
Great shoot. He does play great. Okay, but yeah, he's just not my top 10.
Okay.
I just don't think he should be there. I'm
going to write down who you have and so I can just compare. But go ahead.
So the fact that you have Durant, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson in your list.
Well, hold on. Let's go.
I know. I'm just saying it's crazy because I don't know who you're missing. Because there's some big people that I'm
All
like.
Right, well, go ahead.
And Kobe's not in your list.
No.
And Shaq.
Absolutely not.
Oh God, I really don't know who you're missing. You're gonna miss someone important. I just know it. I think I know who it is.
You give me number 9.
This is gonna upset you. It's Bird.
Okay. No, that's fair.
You think so? I don't know if you had him higher, but
I do. Of course I do.
Yeah, because it's you. I mean, he's definitely like number 2 on your list.
No, he's not that high. I'm trying to be subjective.
And you don't have Kareem. Oh my God.
You get very.
I can't believe you don't. It's just kind of funny to me. All right. Who's your number 9? Wait, who's your number 10?
I already told you, Durant.
Oh right, okay. Who's your
so my number 9 was Big O, Oscar Robertson, and I put him over Kareem. And here's the reason why. I think he only has that one championship with Kareem with the Bucks. But the one thing that I always was intrigued about with Oscar Robertson was the guy averaged a triple-double for a season. Now, Russell Westbrook just did it.
Right.
But Russell Westbrook...
He's not even in the top 30 of all time.
No,
so I don't know how you can say that.
No, what I'm saying, though, is that he did it in an era where it wasn't me first basketball. I think Big O could do anything on the court at any time. And I think he was...
You never watched Big O?
No, but I've seen highlights. And I guess
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I guess my point about him is that he was subjected to not having great teammates for his entire career. He had Kareem for that one great season. I don't know how many seasons they played together in total.
Yeah, they won.
They had that one championship, and then Kareem was off to the Lakers. And so I think if they were able to stay together, they could have been...
But do you understand what I'm saying, where you have Oscar Robertson ahead of Kareem, but Kareem has 6 titles, 6 MVPs?
But think about, Kareem also played with Magic Johnson.
Right, I understand that. But the fact that he has 6 MVPs.
And that's where, put it this way, without Magic, I think Kareem doesn't win those Lakers championships as the main guy. I don't. And that's why I kind of discounted.
Okay. Oscar Robertson has 1 MVP, and Kareem has 6.
I get that.
And he's a top leading scorer of all time.
I understand that it's controversial and people aren't going to like it.
Kevin Durant.
But I'm trying to say that a guy that averaged a triple-double is pretty unique.
All right. Okay. Number 9, I had Bird. So you want to talk about that?
I had Big O. Well,
all right. So three
put it this way: we
MVPs.
can agree that Larry's in the top 10.
Right. Yeah. 3 championships, 3 MVPs.
The height of the NBA, going against the biggest stars in the world. When the league wasn't diluted by having 30 teams.
Yeah. He's just a shame that his career ended so quickly. Or not so quickly, but the fact that he only played for, 13 seasons?
Well,
kind of short-lived. And the last ones with the back was
no, that wasn't good. He had Achilles surgery, so that took him out for a season. He tried to lay driveway down in his mother's driveway, which started his whole back injury, which is a joke. And then
I feel like
he also lost a year.
Him, but it seems like his drive for basketball wasn't as high as some other guys.
I disagree wholeheartedly with that.
Really?
I think his drive was through the roof because every offseason he'd work on a new skill.
Right, but his competitive, I don't think so. But the drive that, let's say, LeBron or MJ had to be the greatest ever. I don't know if he had that. I don't think that was in his mind. The killer competitiveness to win games, sure. But I don't think it was really to be I want to be that guy, the one.
No,
and he seemed like he was focused. You wouldn't be laying down driveway because he has that family mentality. He's worried about other things.
No, it's because he's cheap. He didn't want to give somebody else money. And if you heard any personal stories about Bird, going to a restaurant. He was a lousy tipper if he tips at all.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a notoriously cheap guy, and he didn't want to pay someone to lay driveway down when he's a country boy.
Yeah.
He worked on a garbage truck.
Because we have the 86 finals and like 84 finals. We have the 79 the college game all on DVD. So I've watched those, and it's just amazing to watch him. He's just the passing, the vision is just it's just really fun to watch. It's one of my favorite people to watch play basketball.
And what I would say is to kind of refute your earlier comment, he was going against Magic in Magic's prime, and he wanted to rip his heart out.
Yeah,
they both wanted to kill each other on the court, which made that rivalry so great.
Yeah, but it was so
So I don't think it's something he didn't want to be the best. I think he was just frugal.
Yeah. I don't know. So he's 9.
All right.
Just I think the longevity of his career, not being that long, not having as many championships as other guys ahead of him on the list.
Mm-hmm.
I think the championship thing is key. Only having 3. I think every person above him, except 2. Except 2 have more championships, and the 2 I think definitely should be above him.
Okay. Well, getting everyone excited about what's coming next.
Number 8, you can go.
Oh, I realized. All right.
What was it?
Nope, we're gonna keep going. Number 8,
oh boy,
Jerry West.
All right.
For me, and again, it goes back to what I said earlier. He's the logo of the whole league.
He's the logo.
He's the logo.
I'm just gonna say that for the rest of the top 10 rankings. If I ever have a controversy, like he's the logo.
He's the logo.
He's the logo.
He has to be in your top 10. The guy was sick, and again, if you think about the time that he played, he was going through the buzzsaw known as the Boston Celtics, and he was a guy that didn't have the benefit. And if you look at some of those championships that they battled against each other, fantastic games, legendary games.
But I don't think he ever won an MVP.
I don't think he did.
He didn't win an MVP, only won 1 championship. So that's where you're kind of saying, if he didn't win an MVP, that's pretty bad, Dad.
I think it was
was he the one person that won?
He only won 1
Finals MVP when they didn't win, or is that? No, I might be thinking something completely wrong. Never mind.
I don't know what that is.
Never mind.
But I agree with you. Light on MVP, but I also think it's a talent-rich period in the NBA with few teams.
How is that not the 80s or the 2000s? There's always a talent-rich period.
No, not now there isn't. There's 30 teams in the NBA. There wasn't back in the 70s.
But I'm also saying, like, for MVP, there's Russell and Wilt, and maybe Elgin Baylor. But other than that, he's not on my list.
Big O.
I know, but then you're looking at
Boom.
now
Kuzi,
Curry,
Havlicek.
Kawhi, Durant, Giannis, LeBron. Like, now there's more. And even in the 80s.
I don't agree with that.
In the 80s with Bird, Magic,
Dominique,
James Worthy.
Isaiah Thomas,
yeah, exactly.
Stockton,
Backward
Malone,
Pistons. Yeah, everyone.
Tom Chambers.
I don't know who that is.
He's stiff. Yeah, I don't know. I always things that I've seen of Jerry West, and when I've heard people talk about playing him, it just seemed like the guy was just an animal.
Okay. I don't know. I just can't. I
Right,
just can't even take it seriously. You know? Like, the fact that you don't even have Kareem on your list is kind of ridiculous. I don't mean to be rude.
No, it's fine. I love it.
All right. My number 8 was Kobe. 5 championships and MVP.
Great resume.
Won the
Hands down.
2 without Shaq. I think the 5 championships really seals it. The fact that he won 5. The killer mentality. I saw this thing on Bleacher Report. He had like 5 games in a row with more than 50 points. It's like ridiculous. Yeah. It's like me in NBA 2K.
But again, like what I'd say yeah, that's true.
But the amount of shots he was taking.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, he probably jacked 75 shots.
Let me see this.
I don't know. Kobe tried so hard to be Michael Jordan, which again, that's the mantle, right?
Guess his career field goal percentage.
37.
45.
It's a lot of dunks.
That's a lot.
More importantly, like I'd love to see what it was in those high-scoring games.
Yeah.
Like that last one, when he scored 80 or
60.
60 in his last game ever.
Well, obviously, because it's the last game. If you look at the 81-point game, I doubt it would be that bad.
I don't think it's great, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just the times that I watched him, I just felt like he took a ton of shots.
Being a Celtics.
Yeah, and I hated him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
hurts,
so that I'm jaded in that regard. I would agree.
All right, number 7. This guy I have at 7. I feel like you don't have in the list.
Go for it.
Tim Duncan.
No, he's on my list.
Okay, good. 5 championships, 2 MVPs.
The fundamental. So he's a guy that, again, I think he could play in any era.
Yeah, he's just a great basketball player,
Cerebral.
good at everything. He's a
the
great team, like the epitome of a great leader and teammate.
Yeah, again, I think if you're a coach, he's exactly who you want because he's always the best player on all those Spurs teams, hands down. Except maybe towards the end it was more Tony Parker. But everyone respected Duncan so much, maybe Ginobili, but everyone respected Duncan so much they looked towards him.
Like Kawhi too in that 2014.
True.
He was the MVP of that.
He was young then.
But that was just that was his year, the 2014 Finals MVP. That's when he kind of blossomed, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at this guy." But then he couldn't shoot.
Right.
He was more of a defensive lockdown guy, but then he really evolved.
You're talking about Kawhi.
Kawhi.
Yeah.
Then there's the early ones with David Robinson, but he was washed up.
David Robinson was a bum, and if it wasn't for Duncan, then Robinson wouldn't have sniffed a ring. Joke. But what I'd say is also, Tim Duncan, in my eyes, is the last superstar to use the backboard with a jump shot.
Do you think so?
I don't see anyone use backboard.
That's true. Actually.
No one uses backboard. Tim Duncan did it all day. All day.
Oh, yeah. But, the fact that he won all those championships, I think, was huge also.
Yeah.
And the fact that, really, no one else was a superstar. You could say Tony Parker just wasn't. He was a good point guard.
He could take over a game when he needed to.
But he wasn't.
Ginobili, you could say, was
Is Tony Parker a Hall of Famer? Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he probably is.
But I don't know. He's just the actual
longevity.
Yeah. But Manu was good.
Manu's legit.
Yeah, he's legit.
I mean,
Manu's better than Tony Parker, in my eyes. Even though he's a six man, I think I'd take Manu over Tony Parker.
Maybe more talented because he could do so many different things. Because Manu could dribble, Manu could shoot. He could shoot the lights out. And Tony Parker,
I think, catching the bat. Manu?
No.
There was a bat in the arena and he grabbed it. It was sick.
Yeah,
Oh, and did you see the clip? Tim Duncan, when he got a technical and then got pulled out of the game for laughing on the bench.
Ginobili did?
No, Tony Parker. Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Sorry.
I did not.
Oh my God, it's the craziest thing ever. So there was a foul and what's that guy's ref? There's this ref who's terrible. It looks like you. He's bald.
Joey Crawford?
Joey Crawford, yes. And
he's terrible like me.
He's bald.
Yeah.
And then there was a call and Tim Duncan was saying stuff on the bench and he got a technical deserved because he was chirping, right? And then there was another call and he was laughing on the bench and Jerry Crawford pulled him out of the game. Joey Crawford, same thing.
It's different, but yeah, no, I think
it's one of my favorite clips ever. I'll show it to you after. It's really, really funny. And if anyone knows that, they'll know how great of a clip that is. Yeah, he's just it's one of those things, and he just laughs it off. He's just he can't even take it seriously.
Well, especially because Duncan is typically 99 times out of 100 stoic. He doesn't show any emotion ever.
Didn't he do karate or something?
Judo, I think something like that. Yep. All right, my number 7.
Yeah,
and this is because I forgot about my list. I actually had Shaq.
Oh, there we go.
There he is. Now, what I would say is I originally wrote Jabbar, and I crossed it out, and I put Shaq over Kareem. And here's my rationale, is that...
backtracking on everything.
Yeah, I know. But I can't believe I have Shaq in my top 10. But there he is. I originally put Jabbar for all the reasons that you said. I said, all right, he's the all-time leading scorer. He's won 5 championships. And then I said, all right.
6 championships.
6 championships. That's right, the one with the Bucks. I said, all right, Shaq has done the same thing. And I said, who could guard who? And I started thinking about Shaq and the whole Hack-a-Shaq thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was really the only defense you had against Shaq.
That's true.
It was to foul.
But then you're thinking, but then if you go down that road and you say who would win in a one-on-one, today's players would kill people from then. Imagine what's it called? Kevin Durant against Jerry West. Oh my God. You know what I mean? It would be exactly. It's one of those things where those guys were working day jobs back in the 60s and then going to play basketball. It's just that you have to separate the eras and take things and I think you really have to take MVPs and championships for a big amount.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't really take it because the skill levels are just uncomparable.
No, I think that's right on. And so I think about all the negative things I started with Shaq, about him being fat and out of shape, and all those things are true. And so shame on me for not rereading my top 10 list, but I did have him as number 7.
Whatever, I'm okay with that. I think he's a beast. He was just unstoppable when he played.
That was the thing. I don't know how you could stop him.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it was Bird who said In the 1992 Dream Team, they said, who's going to be the best? Who do you think is the best player in the NBA? And at that time, Shaq was just drafted by the Orlando Magic. Or was
Shaq and Penny? 92, that seems?
No, 94. It was 94.
92 seems.
It wasn't 92.
Might be, yeah.
92 was Leitner. That's right, because he was on the Dream Team. That's right, my bad. But Bird said something in that 92 to 94 period that Shaq was going to be the best player of all time. And I was like, wow. And if you look at a young Shaq, it's amazing how skinny he was.
Yeah, he built up.
And he was even more athletic then. I mean, he could move. He could run the court.
It's such a shame that Orlando Magic are such a bad organization. From going from Shaq to Dwight Howard and then just botching them both completely is just one of the
it's amazing
biggest travesties. Having Shaq and Penny.
Shaq and Penny, I mean, they did go to the championships. They got smoked. But Penny, unfortunately, had bad knees.
Yeah. Another guy who I liked is Tracy McGrady. It's a bummer he's one of the most skilled. But
you know what's funny is, we're going on a tangent. This might be another time. Shaq and Dwight Howard are kind of similar.
Yeah, very much. Mm-hmm.
They both play down low.
Yeah, they're both like they're kind of like they had like some beef too. They used to
they
like
thought they were
Superman or whatever.
Superman beef. Dwight Howard tried to pretend he was him, and Shaq got pissed.
Did not like it.
All right, number 6.
Wilt.
Wilt didn't make my top 10. Because my number 6 is Larry Joe Bird.
Oh my God, Wilt didn't make the top 10.
Because honestly, Wilt has what? 1 championship?
2 championships, 2 MVPs.
So again,
averaged 50 points a game one season, and then just because he wanted to, led the league in assists one year,
which is impressive.
Just because he wanted to, like he could do anything he wanted back then. In fact, you don't have him on your list. Jerry West or Wilt, Dad?
Yeah,
he's the logo.
Yeah, he is the logo. So I thought about Wilt at number 8, and then I went Jerry. So yeah, Jabbar and
we have to do something
Wilt.
after this where you rearrange your list after we talk.
No, I'm not going to rearrange anything. I think we should actually, at the end of this, we should somehow post out our lists.
Just post it out.
See what people think of them. But
yeah, I bet you get butchered.
I don't care. You could butcher me.
Butcher me.
Okay. Make your own podcast.
Keep going. Talk about. All right. Well, I'll talk about Wilt a little bit. Yeah, obviously he's just one of the greatest scorers of all time. Just one of the most dominant players. Again, he was
clearly dominant.
A freak, athletic.
Should have had more than 2 championships.
And he's one of those people who like you wonder how dedicated he was too.
Yeah, I think he has a little Shaq disease.
Yeah.
He was too busy doing other stuff off the court, being in movies and stuff, and then other stuff off the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, talk about Larry Bird. Why do you have him ahead of everyone else? Who do you have below him? Well, honestly, like the rest of your list.
Shaq, Jerry, Big O, and
I'd put Larry. I put Larry ahead of all of them. So I agree with you with how you have it. It's just that the people that you've
I love Larry.
Yeah, I know.
Love him. I think he's the greatest. I think
Kareem.
Yeah, I just love Larry.
It's all right.
It took me a lot to put him at 6.
Yeah,
I always had him as top 5, top 3 for a long time.
I remember we have that book, the top 10 point guards or top 10 of every position of all time.
Yes.
And Larry's one on that list for small forward. That's before LeBron. That book came out in like 2010 or something. Excuse me, and that was right when LeBron was going to the Heat and stuff. So we didn't have those championships yet. So they had Larry ahead and LeBron at 2. But the fact that LeBron was there even then was impressive. But
I think you'll never see a superstar play as hard as Larry did. Whether it was a preseason game or
I mean, that's a little.
No, I guess what I'm going to say is, you see so many guys taking nights off these days. Load management, right? Yeah. They didn't do that with Larry. Larry played all the time.
You're trying to tell me that Kobe or the mob mentality or MJ didn't put in the work that Larry did?
Not the work.
Even every night out. Did you think Jordan took games off? No, it's not like a Larry thing. It's just just a new generation that people.
Yeah, lousy generation.
I don't know. NBA is fun to watch now. I think we're in a good generation right now.
I think that they're so. The problem with today's NBA is that they're making millions upon millions, and they don't appreciate the history behind it, and they I feel like don't give the same effort that guys did in years past. Yeah. I struggle with that.
I don't know. I just don't think it's Larry in particular, what you said there. I think it's just a new
generation. No, I agree. But there was also, I'll never forget, there's a quote from Artis Gilmore. And he was talking about how Larry kept diving for loose balls and diving in the crowd to save balls. And he said to him, he goes, you're not going to make it long in this league if you keep playing like that. And he's like, and Larry's response was, well, that's the way I play. There's not many superstars that are going to dive.
Yeah, and those stories of him at the 3-point contest, like, hey, who's coming in second? Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. No one does that.
Yeah. I don't know.
We need more of that.
I just think that it's honestly, the load management, I think, is pretty logical.
The what?
The load management, I think, is logical.
It's logical because it's probably a longer season,
right?
And especially when you have things like the Olympics and the World Championships that these guys are playing.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I don't want them pushing Kemba Walker to go out with his knee injury, even though he probably could. You know what I mean? Like, as a fan of a true fan, if you're not just going to the game, you really want to see someone play. It's more if you want the success of your team in the long run to do better. I think load management is probably a good thing to some extent.
Yeah.
But then there's a whole conversation about the fans wanting to see them play. I know there's two sides, but I'd rather have Kemba Walker sit out 30 games and the Celtics win a championship. Or if you're a Clippers fan, see Kawhi sit 30 games and then win a championship rather than playing those games and then being worn out by the end.
Yep. No, that's fair. And I think you want your best players to be on the big stage.
Exactly.
And that's the playoffs.
Yeah, national games, playoffs, all
that's
that
what
stuff.
it's all about.
All right, let's move on. Number 6, you had Larry. Number 6, I had Wilt. Number 5, I had Bill Russell, who I feel is going to be a lot higher in your list.
I had Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan at 5. Okay.
So Tim Duncan, I thought we talked enough about. I don't think we have to rehash that.
Bill Russell, 11 championships, 5 MVPs.
The best.
The best. I mean,
in terms of championships.
In terms of championships, right. 11 championships in 13 seasons with the Celtics. Unheard of.
Unheard of. It's crazy. And what I'd also say is, not to interrupt you.
No, you're going first.
The people I don't think appreciate that Bill Russell, how tall he was.
He was 6'11", right?
6'9".
No.
Look it up.
How tall is Bill Russell? Do some Siri accent. 6'10".
6'10".
And split the difference.
All right, split the difference. But still, so
going
he
up
was
against Will.
Will, too, was 7'2".
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean,
how tall is Wilt Chamberlain? Get our facts right. 7'1". Yeah.
7'1". All right. So,
Wilt is still.
And again, Wilt was extremely athletic, but the fact that Bill Russell was able to beat him
the blocks
and
per
frustrate
game, the rebounds. Yeah, the fact. Yeah, that's
amazing.
The thing. Wilt is. People are always talking about Wilt versus Wilt versus Russell. And a lot of people have Wilt ahead of Russell because it was 50 points per game because it shows up in the box score. But then didn't you say there was a book that you read somewhere about? It was about how like all of a sudden now with like these stats and stuff, people seeing him averaging 50 points a game, everyone's saying like Wilt, it's a lot closer of a race. Well, then back then it was like a clear cut. Bill Russell was a better player. I remember you telling me that. You read it in a book somewhere that you said like for the longest like Bill Russell was always assumed to be better than Wilt, and then all of a sudden Wilt just kind of became more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember the book. I wish I did. Sounds like something I'd say.
I don't know, but I just think the 11 championships. Yeah, it's just
we'll never see that again.
And then you hear the stories about how every time he'd block someone, he'd try to pass it to a teammate.
Yeah,
like it wasn't enough to get the block. Like he'd always
it was a block that was a pass.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Is absurd. Mm-hmm. No one does that.
Yeah, and I just think the fact that he beat Wilt, and you can argue about the team skill level, but then at the same time, I don't know. I just think Bill Russell was a top man on that team, and then you can have Havlicek, obviously Kuzi. He always had that.
I think that the comparison between Russell and Auerbach is the closest thing that we have today with Brady and Belichick, in that they both needed each other. Auerbach, I think, built the team that made Russell so successful, and they had an incredible run.
I think it's more as I think it's more Brady than Belichick. I think it's more Auerbach than Russell.
Yeah, but again,
that team that he built.
But I guess what I'm saying though is, if you don't put Russell on that team, I mean, how many less championships do the Celtics win in that span of time?
Yeah, because you got to. It's if you have to find someone else to play center against Wilt.
Yeah,
because then
you probably don't.
Who's the backup center? Mel Counts.
Yeah,
Mel Counts. Remember the joke? I'd try to back when I used to play NBA. I'd always put Mel Counts in, and I'd like kill him. Like I'd play him the whole game, score as many points as possible, and he was awful. He was like a 60 overall, and he
was awful. Yeah, I'm
shoot
not
constantly.
I used to be good in video games, and now I'm not. Yeah. As you get old.
All right, so Bill Russell number 5 for me.
Yep.
Tim Duncan number 5 for you.
Number 4.
Magic.
LeBron.
Oh.
Okay. I have LeBron as number 4.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron to me is the closest thing to Bill Russell's dominance that we have in this era because of the consecutive championship appearances that he's been
9.
to. It's amazing.
It is amazing. 9 consecutive championships.
And in this era.
In this
with
era,
different teams.
I think it's a huge part.
With
this
different
era
teams.
I think is huge, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, different.
So I mean, LeBron is,
and that's yeah, okay.
LeBron very well may go up this list in a couple more years. I think what he's doing with the Lakers right now, before this season got halted, they were poised and they were starting to really look like the best team in the NBA.
He's like legitimately a point guard.
Yep.
Like it's not even like watching Lakers game. He's their point guard. It's not even a question. It's not like a debate. Like the way he's just transitioned his game to now being able to shoot the ball, and his court vision is honestly this. I don't want to get him myself. Probably the best in the whole league. I mean, like all time. Because
it's Larry-esque. I think.
Like you should watch. I was watching like assists, like highlights, like from the past decade, top 10, like top 100 assists is what it was. And like 30 of them were LeBron. Like the amount, the crazy passes he makes. Someone like you guys got to look that up. The 30 just LeBron assists are just ridiculous. And off topic, Joe Johnson. We're watching a Joe Johnson highlight. He's sick. Oh my god, ISO Joe.
Wait, what was the clip that we watched last night that you showed me?
Joe Johnson?
Yeah, what was it called?
Oh, it was on House of Highlights. It was just like top Joe Johnson moments of all time. He was just a killer.
I'm surprised he wasn't in your top 10.
Yeah, I know. They might have game-winning shots. I got that from King of the Fourth Quarter. Here, buddy. Watch him on YouTube.
Yeah, he's great.
I like him.
So yeah, okay. LeBron I think is the real deal, and I think he very well in a couple of years. And I think
everyone's been saying that in a couple of years he'll be this high, and then they always.
No, but if he wins another championship with a third different team, I don't think anyone's ever done that. Has there been someone who's won 3 NBA championships with 3 different teams?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think there has been.
I mean, if it is, it's kind of like a bum player that just kind of went along to get a ring. I'm not talking about in terms of superstars.
No,
not that I know of. You know, so
that's a good point.
LeBron, I think, is just in this. I'm appreciating him the older he gets, especially as his body is certainly not failing him. But he's older now, right? So you don't see him. He can still throw it down as hard as anybody. He can swat any ball on defense that he wants to. But the frequency isn't as much as it used to be because I think he's taking a more.
He always
opens
approach. Up for the national games though. He goes up.
National games and playoffs. He takes over. Everything's over, and he goes nuts. So
I think he should be higher than 4. That's just my take. I had Magic. Okay. Magic, 5 championships.
Number 3?
Number 4.
Oh, number 4, you had Magic.
5 championships, 3 MVPs. There's nothing really else to say. It was either Larry or Magic to take over the 80s era, and Magic won.
So I'll tell you, not to ruin this, but I had Magic as number 2.
Okay.
And here's my rationale behind Magic. Again, 5 championships. Played against the biggest competition out there.
And he was the most successful out of anyone there.
And he controlled the game.
The greatest era, people say, of basketball, the 80s, the prime time, he was the guy.
He was the guy.
Exactly.
I would agree.
The 5 championship, because as much as we want to say it's Bird, he got the upper hand with the 5 championships.
He did.
He did. And you can say team, but...
But I think that, again, the thing that I think resonates so much for me from Magic and showing how much he dominated the game was when he played center. When Kareem got hurt and they won the championship. The fact that he can
do that, yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's – as I look at all the different positions, all the guys that could play on this loop, don't hear that. I think LeBron can play multiple positions. MJ probably could, but he can't play center. He can't play center. And maybe Oscar Robertson on my list, and then Durant. Durant I had at number 10.
Durant's like literally a 7-foot point guard.
Yeah, Durant could do anything. And do it at a high level, I guess, is the only thing, is to make it look like you're not missing a beat. And the fact that he was able to do that on the biggest stage and actually win the championship, that's pretty impressive. And he was young. He was really young then.
Yeah. I don't know. I just still find it crazy that he's like one of the best point guards, like the best point guard ever. And he can't shoot. He wasn't a great shooter.
No, he really wasn't.
And that's, I think, really one of the telling signs is, of course, in the 80s, people weren't as good then. But you think to be that dominant as a point guard or a guard, you have to be a good shooter, and he just wasn't. And he was still that dominant and able to do that.
But he could hit it when he needed to.
He could.
That skyhook in 87 still kills me.
Right, but I'm not talking about a skyhook. I'm saying
the
skyhook's a whole different thing. Yeah,
no, but I'm just saying.
A little like, it's that vine jump shot.
But for him to do that shot.
Oh, yeah. It
was amazing.
Yeah, for a point guard to do that. I didn't have him higher. Here we go, number 3, Kareem.
Number 3, Bill Russell.
Okay, that's
for
who is
me.
on my list.
So yeah, Bill Russell for all the reasons we talked about before.
Why ahead of Magic? Because the 11 championships?
No, Magic's ahead of.
Oh,
Bill
then who'd you have
Russell
it for? LeBron.
I had LeBron.
So you
at
put
number 4.
him ahead of LeBron. Okay. I have Kareem at 3.
Yeah, Bill Russell, again, I think it's amazing to me when you hear about the dominance of him over Wilt, as well as the one thing we haven't talked about, he might be the only guy I know that was a superstar that won a championship as a player coach.
Yeah, that's true.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are no player coaches anymore.
Yeah, who else?
No
Casey
one in
Jones is the only other guy that's over.
Well, he did it just as a coach. He wasn't playing.
Oh, player coach.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Sorry, I'm
crazy.
thinking,
Think about that today. Who in their right mind would ever be
Player
a player
coach. Yeah, you're right.
That would never happen.
LeBron? I don't know.
Yeah,
He
he probably
is.
could. He probably
is,
could,
yeah.
right?
Sorry, no need for.
But you'll
time.
never see that again.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think Kareem's just. I know I've talked about Kareem already.
Yeah, Kareem's the
The
real
6
deal. I don't
championships
know
in
if I'd have him that high, but
I don't know.
I mean, he didn't even crack my top 10. But no, if I was to revisit it, I could probably find a spot for him. But
Yeah, the only reason that I put in my head Magic is because the 6, this one more championship and the MVPs. MVPs I think are huge.
I
Because the
agree.
difference you can ride a championship team and be, let's say, like Satch Sanders won whatever, I don't know, 5 championships with the Celtics back in the 60s. I don't know who what it was, but he never actually won an MVP, so you know that he's not one
He's
of
a
the
good,
best players.
great role player.
Right, exactly. But for
on a
Kareem to
championship
win
team.
6 MVPs, to be the best guy on that team and win 6 championships,
And be the best guy in the league.
right,
And on the team.
and win 6 championships, I
Yeah.
think puts him ahead of Bill Russell, where there's an argument to be made for Bill Russell, but that's just the whole what offensive game did Bill Russell have? That's just different. Probably not much. Best defensive player of all time, but I don't know what his offense was.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of reminds me to Magic in that regard, and that it wasn't like you were looking for Bill Russell to knock down a jump shot for
Right,
him.
but at the same time, Bill Russell's not playmaking. It's just all it's a majority of defense. It's just kind of like fitting into your role.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's able to do that so well for so long and be one of the best players in the league, being able to, it's not like he couldn't play on offense. He probably
did.
averaged 20 points a game. I think
At least.
I don't know if it's at least. I think it's around the 20
Let's
point
look it
mark.
up while we look that up.
You can keep going.
Because I think, again, the thing with Russell for me is that you also have to have an appreciation for what it was back then, right? These were NBA guys that were driving in buses all night long, staying in crappy hotels, not on like the beautiful airlines crash,
he averaged
5-star.
15.
Average
career.
15 points.
That's one of the things where it's like, I can't put him ahead of a Kareem or a Magic.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can put him ahead of Wilt because he beat him in his own era.
But
I can put him ahead of
But I guess
Tim Duncan because 11. You know what I mean?
But let me throw this by you though. Like, why are points rated higher than rebounds?
I never said they were. Well, actually, I think they should be.
Why?
Because
I guess
Dennis Rodman got the most rebounds. He couldn't put up a bucket. Dennis Rodman's on my top 10.
No, I got it, but I bet Bill Russell averaged more.
Oh
than
yeah, but that's what I'm
Rodman
just
did
saying.
for
Like,
rebounds
oh yeah, okay.
for his career.
But because at that time, Dennis Rodman was also shorter, and actually no, they're probably around the same height. If you have to.
No, that could be a good top 10 rebounders.
That'd be fun too. Yeah, we have so many opportunities with this. You're gonna be seeing a lot more of this. We just decided to do a big one for the start.
All right, so what are you at now?
I don't know. Kareem's number 3.
Kareem's number 3, and
I
I did Bill Russell. All right, number 2.
LeBron.
I had Magic.
Yeah. So we both have the same number 1, but we'll talk about these first. LeBron, we've kind of mentioned everyone already.
Yeah.
Except for the first one.
Yeah.
But we'll just go through these. LeBron, 4 MVPs, 3 championships, 9 straight finals appearances.
That's unbelievable. I don't think, again, we'll ever see that again.
No.
I didn't think we'd see it again with Bill Russell.
Yeah.
Let alone now you see it with LeBron doing it. And it's just
What do you
like,
mean, Bill Russell?
Bill Russell went to how many straight
okay.
championships?
Yeah. Then, I don't know. I've really been struggling with the LeBron MJ argument, but I'll wait for that after. But I don't know.
But
I
you
just
had
think
LeBron. You had LeBron where?
2.
Okay.
And then the fact that LeBron kind of pooped the bed in the 10-11 finals with the Mavericks, even though you say he didn't really poop the bed, but if you actually watch those games, I actually rewatched a couple of the games because they were doing them on NBA TV or whatever because of quarantine. Because they like gave it to you free. I watched like two of the 2011 final games because I heard a bunch of things that LeBron was awful, but then you look at the stats and he like averaged a triple double. But like he did poop the bed a little bit. Like it was like it's one of those things where
the thing that I think bothered me about LeBron is that in some of those games against the Celtics when he was with the Cavs, and in some of the championship games that you're talking about, he kind of disappeared in critical moments. And I'm kind of like
we've had this conversation. I feel like LeBron has almost become more clutch, not clutch, but has looked for that shot more.
Yeah, later. But I guess
But early in his, you could say he shied away from it a little bit. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
You always make that argument, but I just.
But again, it's based on what I saw, right? It's the eye test. It's kind of watching it at the time. I'm saying to myself,
why is he not going?
He's the most talented guy. Like he could get a layup right now. He could jam it down their throat, and he didn't. And I was kind of like, wow, why not? And so I always kind of hold that against him. Now, I would say his career is still going. And
right, he's had a lot more game winners. I've talked to you about. There was some in the Raptors playoff series a few years ago against the Wizards. He had a game winner a 3-point game winner against the Nets. He had the turnaround on the free throw line. I'm kind of jabbering around about random stuff, but I just know that recently I've seen a lot more game winners than I have seen clips of him as a younger LeBron. Mm-hmm. I've seen more older LeBron game winners than I have in the.
And I think what we also forget is that he came out of high school, and we're probably not going to see another superstar do that. So you think about from 18 to 22, he's playing on a stage that's pretty big. Everyone has such high expectations for him, and so
it's like Zion. There hasn't been that much hype about someone since.
Yeah, that's right. But
Zion's showing out.
Zion's a big boy.
Didn't get hurt. I love him.
Yeah, Zion's a big boy. But LeBron's fun to watch, and if you know that LeBron's going to be on TV in the playoffs, I try to watch him.
Mm-hmm. And he's just a nice guy. Like he's not. He's just a good.
He does a lot for people.
He does.
That's true.
And
which I like to see.
But as a Celtics fan, it's hard to.
Yeah, I mean,
killing them in the year after year.
I'll tell you, the Cavs-Celtics rivalry there with KG and Pierce, that was just great basketball to watch. That was fun.
Oh, honestly, the greatest basketball game I think I've ever watched in my whole life, like live, is probably that Game 7 Finals game with LeBron and the Celtics and Tatum. Mm-hmm. With everything, like, oh my God, it was just so good. But it's such a good
Rook
game.
takes king.
Rook takes king. Yeah, LeBron's Tatum's dunk on LeBron is just one of my favorite memories of all time. I was watching it in the living room with mom, and I remember just that sequence of the dunk. So they're down by 5. There's I think it's 4 minutes left in the game, 6 minutes, and comes off ball screen, and then he gets it, drives in net, dunks on LeBron, gives him a little chest bump, and I was like, damn, that's bad.
The chest bump.
I was like, whoa, look at him going after it. And then next possession, people don't remember this. We steal the ball. They run up the court after the dunk. We steal the ball, comes around, Tatum hits a 3. Like a fadeaway 3. Yeah. And the crowd just goes crazy.
Nuts.
And that year was such a fun year to watch. We went to 2 playoff games. Game 1 in Milwaukee.
The Bucks series.
Game 1 in Milwaukee was a game where Terry did the through the legs crossover. Crossed up. Eric Bledsoe hit the 3. Chris Middleton hit that crazy shot. Yeah. And then went to overtime and ended up winning. God. No, it was
it's Game 5.
Did we go to Game 5 in both series? No, or Game 2. I think it was Game 5 of the Bucks series, Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
We went to.
Yep.
And I remember there was the FJR chants going around the crowd. That was awesome.
Everyone hates J.R. Smith.
All right, great. So we're getting way off track. But yeah, LeBron, he's great. I think he's 2.
He's talented.
He's the legacy he has in the 9 straight. I think
it's impressive.
Never be done.
I can't argue with that.
I still have Magic.
I still have Magic. Everything that
we said about the primetime 80s era, him being the best.
Love Magic.
And you watched him.
I watched him, and that's probably...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things that you respect the hell out of him so much for what he did to your team personally. Thinking about it, I could easily have LeBron number 2, but...
Whatever. They're all so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once you get that high, you don't have Kareem on your list, that's an issue. Whatever. And Jerry West, he's a logo, but...
It's the logo. All right, let's do it. Number MJ. One thing we agree on.
6 championships, 5 MVPs. Been the unanimous best player of all time, pretty much for the past 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, since he's essentially took the mantle when he won his first championship. I think the amazing thing to me about MJ is it's almost as if his legend just continues to grow each subsequent year.
Yeah. Like the icon of Michael Jordan, like the shoes, like everything. He's just like, he's the guy.
He's the guy. He is the guy. And the thing you always hear, the kind of common thread throughout any Michael Jordan story is that he would rip your heart out.
Yeah.
And
the classic, the Utah Jazz crossover, potential push off.
Yeah, that was definitely offensive.
But
it was.
Yeah.
But whatever. But yeah, he wanted the ball and he didn't care. And you know that even if they were down by 3 points with a half a second left, he was going to figure out a way to win the game. And it was scary.
And then there's an argument, if he doesn't go back to baseball, he could have 8 championships.
Yeah, shame on him.
That is, I agree, biggest shame on him. Like, if he didn't do that, that's when Hakeem got his 2, when MJ left. Like, he could seriously have had 8.
So what's interesting...
8 appearances. Like, that would be ridiculous. 6 on 6 appearances is great. But that's where I got to go. LeBron's 9 in a row is, I think, more impressive than 6. Now, this is where we go, like, going 9 straight times compared to being 100%. It's the Tom Brady argument, where Montana had 4 championships and only went to the Super Bowl 4 times, where MJ went 6 championships and only went to the final 6 times. You know what I mean? It's the difference between actually getting there and actually winning it.
Yeah, no, and that's another great argument.
And just losing it taken away from you, because LeBron being 3 for 9 is tough.
Now,
whatever it is.
There's going to be a great ESPN series that's coming out that's just about the Bulls and the MJ run in the 6 championships.
I saw that, yeah.
So that's coming.
That'll be fun to watch.
But leading up to that, there's been some articles talking about how badly MJ really wanted to play baseball.
Yeah.
And
his dad and everything like that.
There was things about his dad. His dad always thought he'd be good in baseball. His dad had just died with that murder, which was extremely unfortunate. But more so, and I hadn't heard this before, you also heard the rumors about the gambling. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yep, I have. Yep.
Serious gambling things, and David Stern was kind of on his case a bit to say, hey, maybe this isn't a bad idea for you to get away from the game for a little bit. But the other piece of it was that, and Francona, Terry Francona was his manager.
Oh, right, yeah.
In the minors. He was saying that basketball was a grind at that point for him. You know, the expectations were so high. He would start the season and everyone just assumed, oh, the Bulls are going to be in the finals. And to have those kind of expectations, it's tough to do that year in and year out. And he just won his 3rd consecutive NBA
That's what made his comeback so awesome. You know what I mean?
Agreed. But essentially, I think what I'm getting a better appreciation for was that he really did need a break
from the game.
And so he did something completely different. It would have been unbelievable if he actually was able to make it into the major leagues. And again, reading that article, some of the things on ESPN, they were saying that he actually was getting much better at baseball. His ending stats don't show it, but they said as they looked at his final games and the hits that he had, as well as how he was recognizing pitches, the improvements he was making in the outfield, they said, you know what, another year and a half or so, he might have been able to make it as maybe the 4th outfielder on a major league team, which I never heard anyone say that at the time.
Yeah.
And I think it was because everyone was essentially rooting against him. Everyone wanted him back on the basketball court. So when you have the best player ever and you're saying, hey, I'm going to take some time off.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Imagine if someone did that today. Imagine if...
Oh, they'd be crucified.
Yeah.
In
social media, everything like
everyone
that.
Would rip them apart. So, well, hey, at least we agree on number 1. Did we have any other matches? I don't think we did, right?
All right. So, let's look at...
So number 1, we both had MJ. Number 2, you had LeBron.
Write it down. So you can see the difference.
You had LeBron. 3, you had who?
I had Kareem. 3.
Kareem. I had Bill Russell.
Yeah.
4, I had LeBron. You had?
Magic.
5, I had Tim Duncan. You had?
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. 6, I had Larry. You had? 7, I had Shaq. You had?
Tim Duncan.
8, I had the logo. You had?
The logo.
9, I had Big O. You had, and 10, I had Durant.
Shaq.
You had Shaq.
So, yeah.
Well, there it is. There it is. That is our recap of the 10 best. It was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I thought that was a great starting episode.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of good debates. We didn't come to fisticuffs. That's always a win.
No big arguments. I just kind of accepted your list.
I accepted how awful it was. That's what you're really thinking.
You know, Kareem.
All right, so hey, What are we doing for the next one?
Okay, so this is a little different. So this one, we did top 10 best players of all time. Just straight up top 10 greatest NBA players.
Yep.
Now I'm going to take a little bit of a turn and go from more critical to more favorites. So top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Top 10 favorite movies.
So not critically acclaimed, not like, oh, no, this movie's way better than this movie. Because I'll probably have movies on there that you'll be like, what the heck? Why is this on there? And you'll be like, oh, where's Casablanca? Because that's number 2 on IMDb. I'm like, I'm not going to put Casablanca on my top 10 all-time movie list. But,
all right.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a good one. Favorite movies for the next episode. More of like a opinion-based thing. You can see what we like, and we'll probably do some episodes on in the future. Because we talked about doing the top 10 scenes from specific movies.
That'd be fun.
So I like starting on big, broad things. And then we can maybe narrow it down to basketball, do by position, games, team. There's just so many opportunities are endless.
The world is our apple.
The world is our apple, as Jeff Croak says.
There we go. Boom.
All right, so we're currently at 55 minutes. That was a good run.
Yeah, that's a long one.
So
how many people are going to listen to this whole thing?
Maybe 2. So if you're listening right now,
thank you
so much. I really appreciate that if you're listening.
You're basically thanking Nana.
Yeah. Hi. All right. Imagine if this gets famous. All right. Well, we'll see you all probably at some point later. We'll do another of these. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching, this has been the top 10 everything with Gavin Croak and
Jeff Croak. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you. Bye.